Ever get that, like, little ping of satisfaction, when your headphones just, boom, connect perfectly? Or maybe when your smartwatch reminds you to stand up after being stuck in a meeting for who knows how long?
Yeah.
That's Bluetooth quietly doing its thing, right? It's everywhere these days.
Yeah, it really is amazing how integrated it's become.
But here's the thing, and this is what we're diving into today, that same tech that lets you listen to your tunes on the way to work,
Mm.
it's also behind a kind of a revolution in some really unexpected places. Like think factories, right? But not just any factories. Factories where robots are doing all the work.
Oh, wow.
Or hospitals, but not just any hospitals, ones that always know exactly what supplies they have, critical stuff.
Keeping track of all that.
Yeah. Or even the power grid, but like a smart one. This is what industrial Bluetooth is all about. And believe me, it's way more interesting than it sounds.
I'm intrigued already.
And right at the forefront of all this is a company called InPlay Technologies.
Mm.
These guys are doing some really cool stuff. I mean, they've won a bunch of awards, like back-to-back Best New Product Awards,
Yeah.
2 years in a row at RFID Journal Live, which is a big deal in this world.
Impressive.
And they even snagged a Startup of the Year award somewhere along the way.
So they're on a roll.
Big time. So clearly they're on to something, right?
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is how quickly they've blown up. I mean, it's only been a few years since they launched their first Bluetooth system on a chip. So back in 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
And now they're working with giants in the industry. Like we're talking Mitsubishi Electric, NXP Semiconductors, the big leagues.
That's really interesting, especially in such a short time frame. I think it speaks to the growing demand for these kinds of solutions.
For sure.
The Internet of Things, right? Everyone's talking about it, but to make it work, you need the technology to be up to par. It can't just be powerful. It has to be affordable, easy to use, and this is key, adaptable. You've got to be able to use it in a bunch of different ways. Seems like InPlay has figured out how to do just that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And just so everyone's on the same page, NSO, this system on a chip we're talking about, it's basically like a tiny computer, but it's squeezed onto a single chip. It's what makes all these electronic devices tick. And for InPlay, it's the heart of their whole Bluetooth operation.
The core of it all.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
And speaking of cool stuff, we have to talk about their flagship product, the one
Yeah.
that's been turning heads and racking up all those awards. It's called the InPlay Nano Beacon.
Ah, yes, the Nano Beacon. I've heard some buzz about this.
Yeah, it's a game changer for sure.
What's so interesting about it? I mean, there are a lot of Bluetooth devices out there.
Right, but this one's different.
How so?
It's not just about the size or how little power it uses, although that's impressive too.
Okay.
It's about the potential to, like, democratize industrial Bluetooth.
You mean make it accessible to more people, to more industries?
Exactly. Because, think about it, usually to set up something like this, an industrial-grade Bluetooth sensor network, you need to be pretty good at programming.
Right. Coding, all that.
Yeah.
It's a barrier to entry, for sure.
Big time. But InPlay, they've somehow made it, like, ridiculously simple. Picture this, you just drag, drop, and boom, you've got your sensor network up and running. No code, no hassle. That's what the Nano Beacon is all about. It's Bluetooth for everyone.
That's a pretty powerful concept.
So no more needing to be a coding whiz, right?
Right.
Just to, like, track some stuff in a warehouse. That's pretty neat. But, okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this Nano Beacon actually work? What's the secret sauce?
Well, at its heart, it's a Bluetooth SoC, just like we talked about before. But this one's been designed for ultra-low power consumption and pre-programmed to do its thing straight out of the box. It just beams out information. But the real shocker, they've got the cost down to about 20 cents per chip.
Wait, whoa, back up a second. 20 cents. Seriously, that's like less than a pack of gum. How is that even possible?
It's a combination of things. The technology itself is a big part of it, of course. They've really streamlined things. But it's also about how they're approaching the market. See, traditional active RFID, which uses radio waves to track stuff, it's always been held back by two main things: high chip costs and the need for, well, let's just say, complex programming. InPlay's flipped the script. They've made it user-friendly, focused on simplicity, and I'm guessing here, but they've probably leveraged some smart partnerships to get those manufacturing costs way down.
So they cracked the code on affordability and user-friendliness. That's huge. But, okay, paint me a picture. How would a business actually use this Nano Beacon? Give me an example.
Sure. Let's say you're running a restaurant, right? And you need to make sure your refrigerators are always at the perfect temperature, keep those ingredients fresh. With the Nano Beacon, you could easily put a temperature sensor in each fridge. These sensors would then send real-time temperature data wirelessly to a central hub which you could check on your phone or computer. No complicated setup, no need to hire a whole team of programmers.
So instead of stressing about spoiled food and wasted money, you've got peace of mind, all thanks to a tiny, affordable piece of tech. That's wild.
Exactly, and that's just one example. We're already seeing the nanobeacon being used in a ton of different ways, like monitoring important infrastructure, keeping track of medical supplies even.
It's pretty versatile, in.
Incredibly so. And
Wow.
and the best part is this is just the beginning. The potential applications are almost limitless.
And it's not just about the nanobeacon, right? InPlay has a whole suite of Bluetooth SoCs,
Yeah.
each one with its own strengths.
Absolutely. You've got the IN610, for instance. This one's got incredible range. We're talking hundreds of meters. And the battery life. It can last for years. That makes it perfect for large-scale deployments, like, say, a massive factory floor or an entire warehouse complex.
So if the nanobeacon is the compact, budget-friendly option for everyday use, the IN610 is the heavy hitter, built for covering serious ground.
A very apt comparison.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's the IN612L. This one's interesting. It's kind of the chameleon of the bunch. It supports both standard Bluetooth 5 communication and something called user-defined SDR.
Okay, hold on. Gotta stop you there for a sec. What's SDR and why is user-defined so important? Right, of course. So SDR, it stands for software-defined radio. Imagine your car radio. Yeah. But it can only tune into a handful of preset stations.
Okay, yeah.
That's how traditional radios work. Now imagine you could reprogram your radio on the fly, pick up any frequency you want. That's SDR.
So instead of being limited to just a few channels, you can create your own custom communication protocols.
Exactly. And that's what makes the IN612L so flexible. You need to work with an older system that uses a unique protocol. No problem, the IN612L can handle it.
That's amazing. Talk about customization. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the IN612L, the chameleon. What about the last one on our list, to IN618? What's its claim to fame?
Ah, the IN618. This one's all about speed. We're talking lightning-fast communication, when even a millisecond of delay could make all the difference. It's designed for things like high-precision robotics, virtual reality, anything that demands real-time responsiveness.
The speed demon of the group, then. When every millisecond counts, this is the one you want.
Precisely.
So we've got, like, our marathon runner over here, our chameleon, and, oh yeah, can't forget the speed demon.
It's an impressive lineup for sure.
It really is. But, okay, let's swing back to the nanobeacon for a minute. We've talked about what it can do, but, like, in the real world, how user-friendly is it, really?
Honestly, it's shockingly intuitive, even if you've never written a line of code in your life.
Oh, really?
Seriously. InPlay's created this tool. It's called the Nanobeacon Config tool, and it's like a control panel, but for your whole Nanobeacon network.
So no more messing around with code, like, at all.
Nope, it's all drag and drop. You need to change sensor settings, how often it sends data, anything like that. A few clicks, you're done.
Okay, so, like, let's say, I don't know, I've got this cheese seller, right? And I need to keep the temperature just right for my cheddar. I could set it up to, like, ping me if things get a little too warm.
Exactly. You can even fine-tune it, like how sensitive it is, how often it checks in. It's about giving you the control, but without the complexity.
That's wild. And from what I've heard, it's not just theory. People are actually using this stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just one industry either. It's everywhere. Like utility companies, they're using it for smart grid monitoring. Keeping an eye on the temperature of critical infrastructure helps prevent outages, make the whole system more efficient.
So it's not just about convenience. It's about making sure things run smoothly at scale.
Exactly. And remember that example we talked about before, the restaurant refrigerator?
Yeah.
It's happening on a much bigger scale, too. Logistics companies, they're using the nanobeacon to keep tabs on the cold chain. For everything from vaccines to groceries, it's all about maintaining quality, reducing waste.
It's kind of mind-blowing, you know?
Yeah.
This tiny, inexpensive piece of tech having such a huge impact.
It really goes to show when you make technology accessible, who knows what's possible, right?
Absolutely. Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the nitty-gritty of sockets to the almost poetic potential of a smarter, more connected world, it's clear that InPlay is out there pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with Bluetooth.
Definitely. And it'll be exciting to see where they go next.
For sure. So to everyone listening, that's our deep dive for today. But hey, the conversation doesn't have to end here. Check out InPlay, see what they're up to, and let us know what you think. The future of technology, well, it's happening right now, and it's pretty darn exciting.